أعوذ بالله من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. أعزائي طلبة المرحلة الثانية كلية الطب جامعة ميسان، السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. In our lecture today, metabolic pathways. In general, this diagram in all metabolic pathways in a human body, from diet to breakdown in small molecules and net reactions as ATP as fuel reactions. Metabolic pathways is linked series of chemical reaction within cell. The reactant, products and intermediates of an enzymatic reaction are known as metabolites, which are modified by the sequence of chemical reactions catalyzed by enzymes. Then metabolic pathways, all enzymatic reactions. The biomedical importance of metabolic pathways. Metabolic pathways fall into three categories, three types. Number one, anabolic pathways are those involved in the synthesis of compounds. Protein synthesis is such a pathways from amino acids, as the synthesis of fuel cells of triacylglycerol and glycogen. Anabolic pathways are undergoing. Number two, catabolic pathways. Involved in this pathways, the breakdown of large molecules commonly involve oxidative reaction. For example, producing, reducing equivalents and minerally from respiratory chain as ATP. Large molecules, carbohydrates, fats or proteins to small molecules. Number three, metabolic pathways. This crossroads of metabolism acting as link between the anabolic pathways and catabolic pathways. For example, citric acid cycle. At physiological conditions in a human body, metabolic pathways, two types. Number one, normal metabolism includes adaptations of period starvation, exercise, pregnancy, and lactation. Another type, abnormal metabolism, may result from nutritional deficiency, enzyme deficiency, abnormal secretion of hormones, or actions of a drug and toxin. Then, pathways that the process of major products of digestion. The nature of the diet sets the basic pattern of metabolism. There is a need to process the products of digestion of dietary carbohydrate, lipid and protein. There are many glucose, fatty acid and glycerol and amino acid. The most common products in the net reactions of any metabolism, the most common products بين قوسين acetyl coenzyme A, which is then oxidized by the citric acid cycle to produce ATP energy. Okay? Energy generation by degradation of complex molecules, fat, protein, carbohydrate, at 3 stages as shown in figures. Stage 1, stage 2, stage 3. 3 stages of catabolism. Number 1, hydrolysis of complex molecules, large molecules. In the first stage, complex molecules are broken down into their component building blocks. This digestion and absorption. For example, proteins are degraded to the amino acid. Polysaccharide or simple sugars, mainly glucose. Fat as free fatty acid and glycerol. Stage 2, conversion of building blocks to the simple intermediates as acetyl coenzyme A. This process catabolism. These different building blocks are further degraded to the acetyl coenzyme A. Some energy is captured as ATP, but the amount is small compared with the energy produced during the third stage of catabolism. Then third stage, oxidation of acetyl coenzyme A by tricarboxylic acid cycle or citric acid cycle. Acetyl coenzyme A, the key enters to Krebs cycle. Is this final common pathways in the oxidation of fuel molecules that produce acetyl coenzyme A. Oxidation of acetyl coenzyme A generates large amount of ATP by oxidative phosphorylation as electron flow to formation of NADH and FADH2. Another diagrams to show types of metabolic pathways form initial processing, digestion and absorption, and splitting to the two metabolic pathways as anabolic and catabolic pathways. Food molecules, digestion, similar molecules, reactions of anabolic and catabolic. Then catabolic pathways produce free energy. Anabolic pathways make use of these compounds. This general or introduction of the metabolic pathways. Then, so introduction to carbohydrate metabolism may be major concept, utilization of glucose in the body, and general outlines of these chapters to study metabolism, catabolism of glucose to CO2 and H2O. Then, end of chapters, disorder of carbohydrate in clinical. Okay. كل احنا نعرف glucose is the major form of sugar muti present in the blood and other body fluids. The digestion of food carbohydrates such as starch, sucrose and lactose produces the monosaccharide glucose, fructose, galactose, then which pass into the bloodstream. صار عندي in the bloodstream carbohydrate metabolism consists of 6 stages. Number 1, glycolysis, glycolytic pathways. This pathways oxidation of glucose to pyruvate is called glycolysis. This pathways is joined in the sense that can brought in the both aerobic presence of oxygen and anaerobic absence of oxygen condition. All the enzymes of glycolysis are found in the extra mitochondrial soluble fraction of the cell by the cytosol. Krebs cycle as citric acid cycle or tricarboxylic acid cycle. This cycle is the aerobic phase of carbohydrate metabolism. The name citric acid cycle stems from citric acid, which is formed in the first step of this cycle. Number 3, glycogenesis anabolic reaction. Excess of glucose take is converted to glycogen in different tissue, especially liver and skeletal muscle, and stored there for any future needs. Amount of glycogen stored in the liver and muscles is limited. خليها ببالك is limited. Liver can store approximately 72 إلى 108 gram. At percent, maybe 4 to 6% of the weight of liver. And muscle can store approximately 245 grams, maybe 0.7% of the total. 4. Gluconeogenesis, catabolic reactions. When the blood sugar level falls, hypoglycemia, decrease of sugar's concentration as glucose levels. Glycogen stored in the tissue, glycogen of the liver and muscle may be broken down to the formation of glucose. Five, gluconeogenesis is the process of synthesis of glucose from non-carbohydrate molecules such as lactate, amino acid, and glycerol. Its particular importance when the carbohydrate is not available from the diet. 6. Other pathways such as pentose phosphate pathways, HMP. Then here 6 classes of carbohydrate metabolism. An alternative pathways for oxidation of glucose, it's not mean of the energy. The pathways provides number 1 an ADPH, which is used for reductive synthesis. 2 pentoses, which is used for the nucleic acid synthesis. This pathways operates only the certain tissue and not all tissue. And the pathway operates only the cell tissue and not the all tissue. Uronic acid pathways. Sources of blood glucose. Number 1, from carbohydrate in the diet. All common, or most abundant common. Galactose and fructose may be supplied from diet. Under digestion, these are absorbed into the portal vein in the liver. Fructose and galactose are converted into intermediates in the pathway, by which glucose is metabolized. 2 from glucogenic compounds that are undergo for the gluconeogenesis. A. Compounds that directly converted to glucose without significance. B. Compounds that are products of the partial metabolism of glucose in the certain tissue and move to the liver and kidney to the resynthesis of glucose. وهذا ما يسمونه انكوري cycle. From liver glycogen by glycogenesis. Applications of glucose or uses of glucose in human body. Number 1, formation of glycogen in the liver. 2, formation of glycogen in the muscle and adipose tissue. And 3, conversion to fat, lipogenesis. The amount of glycogen that can be stored is limited. Excess of glucose converted to free fatty acid and stored as triglyceride. 4, oxidation to supply energy, glyconeogenesis. In the presence of physiological needs, the human body requires energy, oxidation of glucose or glycogen to pyruvate and lactate by glycolysis pathways. واضحة؟ Five, conversion to other carbohydrates such as fructose. Seminal fluid is rich in the fructose. Galactose, required to the synthesis of lactose, milk, sugars, in lacting gland, is synthesized from glucose. Mannose, glucosamine, neuromanic acid, and fucose form parts of the glycoproteins. And 6, extraction in the urine when blood glucose levels exceed renal threshold abnormal. Another types from galactose and mannose, D-glucuronic acid required in the formation of MBS and conjugation reaction of detoxifications. 7, conversion to the amino acid. These amino acids are synthesized in the body and called non-essential amino acids. The carbohydrates of such amino acids are derived from glucose or its metabolism. Then glucose is phosphorylated by phosphorylation of glucose. Glucose is phosphorylated to glucose 6-phosphate in the reaction that is common to the first reaction of glycolysis pathway. The reaction is catalyzed by two enzymes, hexokinase and glucokinase. The inactive hexokinase is converted to active hexokinase by the action of insulin. The function of insulin is to increase the enters of glucose into the cell by stimulating the reaction of conversion of glucose 6-phosphate. Thus, if insulin is not present, then the glucose will not be converted to glucose 6-phosphate and cannot enter the cell, while it remains in the blood and causes diabetic and elevated of glucose in the blood system. Note, the reaction of the phosphorylation of glucose is irreversible because the energy in the glucose and ATP is higher than energy in the glucose 6-phosphate. So there is loss of energy and reaction goes to forward and only. The blood glucose levels is maintained within these physiological limits by balance between two factors. Factors add the glucose to the blood, factors that remove the glucose from the blood. واضحة؟ Muscle glycogen cannot provide blood glucose by glycogenesis because two legs of enzyme glucose 6-phosphatase. It can supply indirect by gluconeogenesis from the lactate and pyruvate. The products of muscle glycogenesis, this muscle glycogen can provide indirect blood glucose approximately less than 25 hours. Pathways number 4 are compartmentals within the cell. Glycolysis gluconeogenesis, pentose phosphate pathway, and lipogenesis happen in the cytosol. The mitochondria contain the enzymes of citric acid cycle. The membrane of the endoplasmic contain the enzymes for the number of other processes. 5. The mechanism of insulin action is insulin bind to the specific transporter, high affinity receptors, and the cell membrane of most tissue include liver, muscle, and adipose. وشكرا جزيلا. هذا فيما يخص الجزء الأول بالنسبة للميتابوليك باث ويز.